That's a lot of white. Epilogue. Is Epilogue the credits? Oh. Hey, are you still alive? Please be alive.
Valessa perished during the final assault on Balteus. A memorial was erected near Valinor, and she would never be forgotten. Her bravery, sacrifice, and loving nature empowered many for years to come. Fortem, as the Elder of Valinor, would go on to write about her. These books would eventually be lost to time and become legends. Everybody knew Valessa by name and aspired to her greatness. Though your time in this world was both short, tales of your bond endured. On the anniversary of your deaths, flowers would litter the streets near your homes. This became a tradition, never lost to time, and your exploits were always honored. She was gone, but never forgotten.
Good on you, Valessa.
Fortem returned to Valinor and took on the role of Elder. He stayed true to his word and united his nation with the rest of Alestia. At the loss of some culture, Valinor merged with the monarchy for good. A small price to pay, many would say. Valinor let go of its dead beliefs. No more spirit realm, no more seers. Valinor was just like every other nation. Trade routes were opened, and Valinor was no longer closed off to outsiders. In a way, his nation became almost an extension of Mazeo. Upon his passing, he left behind the world he dreamed of creating, a unified Alestia, each nation resting on another for strength and purpose. He never got over the loss of his best friend, however. The day of your death became a day of festivities for Valinor. They celebrated the gift of life that you gave to the rest of Alestia. On this day, many flowers would line the streets to your home. Fortem still came over every day, keeping your house in tip-top shape. He says it's what you would have wanted. He never stopped honoring your memory.
You're a sweetheart, you know that?
Fortem survived the war, despite all odds. His strong love for everything around him kept him afloat. When all hope was lost, he stood up and challenged death in the face. And for that, he was never forgotten. Living a long and full life, he was happy. Alestia was forever better because of him.
Nice.
After the war, Pro settled down in Mazeo and started to write. He wanted to chronicle everything about the major players of the war. Working with any rebel survivors, he pledged that their story would never be lost. His works would go down in history as the most detailed records of wartime. People would aspire to write like him, but to this date, none have come close. Considered one of the greatest historians in Alestia, he retired and lived a peaceful life. He wrote about you and your sacrifice in vivid detail. In his mind, the most important asset in the war should be remembered. But true to his methods, he wrote about your day-to-day life as well.
He got up at 2 a.m. Yes, it's very early, but he went to brush his teeth. After that, he had some breakfast. He made some loud noises to kind of wake us up. He couldn't stop singing in the shower.
Legends should be grounded in reality. At least that's what he thought. It was important for people to realize you were a person first and a hero second. This empowered generations to come with the idea that anybody could be a hero. Pro's identity as the mole within the rebellion never came to light. However, even if it did, he had done enough to make up for his actions. Many aspired to write like him, but none could achieve such prowess. After the war, Ulrich did his best to assist the throne and serve the monarchy. There was much to take care of, and things were chaotic after the fog of war settled. But he was up to the task, and he did everything in his power to make the world a better place. Having lost Vivian in the war, Ulrich stood up and took his place as ruler of Alarinthia. Because he was Vivian's champion and survived, he did have a claim of leadership. Balancing his new duties in Balteus and Alarinthia, his life was busy and impactful. With your sacrifice, there was nobody left to lead Alestia. Ulrich, stepping up, took on the role of first king of the monarchy. His goal was clear: to educate the world on the new status quo. People slowly learned and adjusted to news of the Triumvirate's fall, but with many years of hard work, they had come to enjoy Ulrich's rule. Alestians lived in peace, never fearing what their rulers may do to them. He had a statue of you erected in the town square of Balteus. You would forever be remembered as the first monarch, a hero. Every ruler in the future would owe their power to you and your sacrifice. With his curse lifted, he was no longer afraid of dying. He served Alestia until he was lost to old age, passing away happily. Though new rulers came and went, he was always remembered as the best. Thanks to your efforts, Ulrich was able to live a happy life, free from the Triumvirate. The shadows of his past soon dissipated, and he turned into a new man, truly loved by the people. Though his secrets never came to light, he had certainly done enough work to make up for them. After the battle for Alestia, Damek had a lot of work to do. Going from a member of the rebellion to a leader in the monarchy was a huge change. He was no longer part of a small army. His actions affected the entire world. Because of your sacrifice, the surviving forces were in a state of disarray. However, this was put to rest when Ulrich stood up and assumed the role of king. Damek immediately pledged loyalty to his childhood friend and served his new king. But he never forgot about you and what you did in order to secure victory. He used you as a guide on what to do, and was known as kind and honorable. That was his way of honoring your friendship, using your ideals as inspiration. He remained in his role as advisor, just under Ulrich's leadership instead. Honoring your appointment, he served in this capacity until the end of his days. His bond with Ulrich stayed as strong as ever, and they always saw eye to eye. Thanks to your efforts, Damek was able to live a long, happy life. He served the throne for the rest of his life, remaining forever loyal. The tale of how far he'd come would go down in history and become legend. Sophie's past crimes were pardoned after his exceptional performance in Balteus. His defection from the Triumvirate and his advice regarding them were seen as invaluable. Were it not for his actions and his change of heart, the war would have been lost.
Now, even though it's said I got corruption when I invited him to our side, shame on you developers for making me feel like I did wrong. This guy deserved the chance.
True to his word, he used his eternal life to serve the monarchy. He was able to tell stories of your battles and keep your legacy alive. Every ruler in the future would know exactly who gave them their power. Howell survived the war, despite several grievous wounds. His body mended them with ease, and his life continued as normal. He dedicated his life to assisting the throne and recording history. But not current history. He wrote about the old monarchy and their ways. It was almost as if the spirits inside him felt regret at their actions. Nobody knew why Howell had this change of heart, but it was for the better. However, he chose to write about you and your sacrifice as well. In his eyes, you were an extension of his kind as well, and very important. He called you the bridge between worlds, and attributed victory almost entirely to you. Thanks to your efforts, Howell was able to live a happy life. He was rarely seen outside of the castle, and mostly stuck to writing. But to him, it was worth it in order to teach the world more about his kind. Aaron's Tavern went on to boom in popularity, being near the birthplace of the monarch. He was forever thankful that he didn't have to give up his home like Damek had wanted. As a tribute to you, he would rename the tavern in the future. his way of saying thanks. This is where Milas settled down, unable to decide between Mazeo and Valenorth. He lived a happy and peaceful life, choosing how his remaining days played out. Being free to choose what happened to him, he was never bound by duty again. After the chaos dwindled, Alex returned to Mazeo and started a new life. His treaty was honored, and pirates were forgiven for all they had done. All bans were lifted, and pirates were officially employed as traders. Neda was never seen again. It was assumed that she didn't agree with these changes, or perhaps she was spiteful that you didn't choose to align with her demands. Either way, Alestia would forever remember her as a ruthless pirate lord. After finding himself fully redeemed, Grizz returned to his office as mayor. Honoring the pirate treaty he had coordinated, he helped Mazeo adjust to every change. He had long since been forgiven by the people, but it was only now that he forgave himself.
That's good.
A small ceremony was held to mourn and honor the sacrifice of your monarch vessels. Though their life on Alestia was short, they had completed enough to be known as heroes. But many wondered what would have happened if they survived. Could a cure to their pain be found? Because Vivian had perished, Ulrich stood up as his champion. He helped ensure that Alarinthia remained on the path of the victorious party. Soon enough, it changed its ways, and existed in unity with the new monarchy. Trade routes were introduced, and its ports were open to everybody. A representative of the monarchy was elected to lead the nation into a new age. Holding a ball every year, Alarinthia kept up its tradition of giving back to the people. One thing was for sure, Alarinthia would never be in the hands of the strong again. Though Vivian wasn't alive to enjoy this new nation, his story would live on for an eternity. Shane was never seen again after that fateful encounter in Balteus. He is presumed dead, and many refuse to speak about his betrayal. If he survived, he went to great lengths to remain hidden from the world. When the chaos and confusion settled down, Halen seemed like a new man. He likened his existence to that of a spectator watching a performance. No matter what he wanted to do, his body could not defy his masters. He decided to atone for what he had done and joined the new monarchy. Of course, many people were apprehensive about accepting his aid. Over time, they learned to accept him and his desires as genuine. His job stayed largely the same, ensuring that Alestia's rulers remained in power. But with new masters and even new friends, he took pride in being on the right side.
That's good.
With the Dark Idol gone from Balteus, the corruption slowly waned. Over the next several decades, it made a complete transformation. Many would call it the most beautiful place in all of Alestian history. Its name was changed to New Balteus, and left behind its old roots. No longer would it be known as the seat of the tyrannical triumvirate. People would see it as the place where Alestia was changed forever. People would come from all over the world to see the home of the new monarchy. It became a symbol of new beginnings, teaching people that change is always possible. As the corruption slowly disappeared, people settled down and turned it into a prosperous nation. You were successful in your aspirations. You left behind an entirely changed world. The members of the rebellion that survived had a new, even bigger journey before them. It was time to lead the world into the bright future you secured. For them, work had only just begun. Thank you for your service, Monarch. For everything you've done, you will never be forgotten.
I just feel like I did some really good wrong choices. My vision fades in, and I feel incredibly confused. With everything that just happened, I should definitely be dead. Actually, maybe I was. Far be it from me to decades what death brought. I know that I'm in my house. That much is easily discernible. After rising up to a sitting position, though, I noticed something shocking. The lower half of my arm is still missing. Could I have survived? No, that wasn't possible. So what's going on exactly? As my mind starts to fill with possibilities, it's a knock at my door. I'm filled with fright, but then a moment later, I hear a familiar voice.
Hey, open up.
I rush to the door and Forte steps into my house. My heart is beating so fast, and joy overtakes me. I give Forte a big hug with just one arm, and he seems surprised.
Did you just wake up? Oh, jeez. Hope we won't be late. Don't tell me you forgot what day it is. It's the anniversary of your induction. If we don't hurry to the town square, we'll be late. Salus is already under enough stress having to train Milas.
Salus is alive?
So come on, we need to get going. Your parents are counting on me, Seer. I told them to give me 10 minutes tops.
Wait, what? My parents? I'm in complete shock, and I stand here, dumbfounded. A small eternity passed before Forte breaks the silence.
Well, don't just stand there. You need to get ready. At this rate, you'll be greeting the townspeople in your underwear.
No!
I mean, you can if you want to, but I really don't recommend that.
I don't either. I don't know what's going on. Am I in a new reality? The Elder's alive, and as well as my parents. And I've been inducted? This means that the rebellion was never formed. There was no occupation. Tears start streaming up from my eyes, and I give Forte a bigger hug. I don't know what happened exactly, but I'm not about to question it. If this was a reward for my journey and sacrifice, then it was worth it.
Whoa, hey, calm down.
I cry even harder, and Forte can't help but show worry.
Hey, wait, are you okay?
I nod and tell him that everything is fine. And this time, something tells me that it will stay that way.
I'll hang your picture on my wall. 4 days gone by, I recall those memories etched in my mind. When our lives intertwined, a moment frozen in time for me and you. And just like the waves across the sea, we were strong, wild and free. Oh, how we laughed, how we cried, our voices echoed through the night. Nothing mattered in this world except you and me. Though the days can pass me by, I'll not forget. 'Cause when we meet again, it's like you never left. 'Cause that's when home comes to you. It doesn't matter where you are, some things are always true. There are those that leave a mark upon your heart you'll never lose. 'Cause that's when home comes to you. And as the years go marching on, the bonds that formed are just as strong. And as our futures unfurl, it was us against the world, and there was nothing that we felt we couldn't do. The way you shaped my life is hard to comprehend. One look at you feels like I've come home again. 'Cause that's when home comes to you. It doesn't matter where you are, some things are always true. There are those that leave a mark when home, 'cause that's when home, home comes to you. Cause when we meet again, it's like you never left. The way you shaped my life is hard to comprehend. One look at you feels like I've come home again. Cause that's when home, home, home comes to you. It doesn't matter where you are, some things are always true. If you had to let somebody go, but they return to you, well, that's when home, home, home comes to you. It doesn't matter where you are, some things are always true. There are those who leave a mark upon your heart you'll never lose. Well, that's when home, well, that's when home, well, that's when home. Well, that's when home, well, that's when home, well, that's when
Though I wish I made a few different choices, I made the choices like I said I would throughout the series. I made the choices and I stuck with them. I still have a save file before this happened, and on my own time I'm going to check to see what it's like if I were to talk to the Triumvirate and see how things happen. But for what this was, a few things. One, I'm glad it's finally over, because it's been a long journey. But not saying I wanted it over for the sake of being over. I loved this story. It was really well voiced, really well written, and for story it should not matter for how long it is. I just felt that I wanted to see what happens in the end. But anyways, and also the music that I posted on my channel for Join the Song, I finally saw in the credits who made it. So I'm going to go credit that person when I can. So, thank you guys for joining me on this journey. And if you pick up the game yourself, what choices are you going to make? Or maybe you already have, and you just want to see mine. Anyways, thank you guys for joining in the song. And until I see you guys again, have a great day, everyone.